Welcome to Julie's Attempt at Cooking. I am not a gourmet, that's my disclaimer. I am not fancy, I'm pretty basic. But what I'm doing right here, I was learning about using squash as a filler for high protein meals. I follow a YouTuber, her name's Madeline, and she does a lot of high protein meal prepping things. And so she uses squash, and I'll try to link it so y'all can find her. She uses squash as a filler in everything. This was my first attempt. Now I kind of took the shortcut and I bought some frozen cube squash, not the yellow kind. This is like the orange kind. There's several, I can't keep track of them. But anyway, but the problem was, even though I tried baking them in the oven, I even broiled them in the oven, they came out really soft. So I'm trying real quick, or maybe they're supposed to be soft, to just kind of fry them up with a little bit of olive oil. I've already seasoned them really good, just so that I can try to see if I can get them a little crispier. One thing I don't have an air fryer. I really need an air fryer, actually. I hear all about it. And we don't have a lot of cabinet space, so or countertop space. That's probably why I haven't done it. Okay, so that's what we're gonna be doing there. I'm just letting that kind of get crispy, hopefully, so that way you don't have any carbs. And that's what I'm trying to do, is to keep my carbs low, not just for myself. My husband is diabetic, and so it's in his best interest to have fewer carbs too. So while I'm doing it to watch, all of this and what the number shows on the scale, I'm also doing it for him as well. So we're going to come back to this. I don't know, maybe these are supposed to not get too firm because they're kind of a filler food, like a cauliflower rice would be. You mix that in, it makes everything thicker. So with the squash, that may be the case here, because now I have browned, I have broiled, and now I have fried, and they're still pretty soft inside. So I'm gonna say maybe they're supposed to be this way, maybe. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get a bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in there. Okay, so I can get started on my ground chicken. All right. So also something kind of new, this is really cool. You can learn a lot on YouTube and stuff, guys. I got this thing, another guy I follow on YouTube. So this is gonna be my first time to try this little tool. This is my lean ground chicken. I will add some olive oil if I need to. But this little beauty right here is supposed to make it easier to cook this. Oh, that's nice. That is easier than going poke, 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 poke with the spatula. That's much better. We'll get this going. Now the way that I do it, when I get my meat mostly browned, is when I add my onions. And in this case, I could chop them myself, but I don't have any today, so I'm going with frozen chopped onions. And that's all that's in there is onions. So I'll come back to you after I get the meat kind of done, and we'll do the onions. Okay, before we get to the onions, we're gonna add some parsley flakes, because I don't have real parsley. We're gonna add some garlic powder. And we're gonna add this is really good, actually, roast chicken. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna keep browning this. You know what's funny? I don't wear aprons. Maybe I should start wearing an apron. But I don't have one that's cute. It's gotta look cute to me. I am definitely a messy cook, no doubt about it. So I probably could use one. So this is a very interesting tool. This is my first time. I don't know if this is gonna be sufficient to cook it all the way through, because normally, you know how you'd have to flip the meat? I'm wondering, because you're doing this and it's like mixing it up, moving it around, so maybe you don't have to. But just to be on the safe side, I'm probably going to go ahead and flip my meat. I have a new non-stick enamel pan set coming, which I'm very excited about, because I got it on flash sale, so I got it for a great price. That way we'll have all matching, everything will be enamel. Supposed to be safe and healthier for you to have the ceramic. So that's what I'm hoping to do. And also, I'm sure she added salt and pepper. I just skimmed through the recipe pretty quickly, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that, because I gotta have plenty of salt and pepper for whatever I make as well. This ground chicken is pretty lean, and mostly what you're seeing in here is water, not really grease. So it'll be interesting to see how the onions cook up here. We're gonna keep doing this. I just wanna make sure that I'm flipping the meat and getting all the pink out. Super important to make sure everything is cooked through. But I'm about to add the onions anyway off to the side. So I just personally like to get it almost all the way done. And then I'll kind of silo the meat to one side and I'll add the onions. Now, I've seen her get real creative to add all kinds of things like, you know, different types of vegetables and things in here. I'm really low on inventory tonight, guys, so I'm not gonna get to do that. So we're just gonna go with this. And my new pans are not going to be swirling around like this one. This is a cheap one, and it moves around, which is very unsafe. So we will be getting rid of that shortly. Okay, we're gonna let this cook up, and then I think I might add 1 egg to hold it together as well. Kind of like a meatloaf, we'll see. Let's start to mix in the onion, and that's where this thing is supposed to come in handy, is mixing together. Let's try it. Y'all are watching me try this in real time here. So he uses this to mix his ingredients too. He just kind of uses this to move it around. I guess the advantage is for meat, it's going to keep chopping it into little bits. It's easier than a spatula. And you can stir, but I don't know. Jury's still out. I don't know if it's going to substantially shorten my cooking time or make life a little easier or not. Okay, so we're getting these onions all in here. Mix them up. You know what else? I love real garlic, so I'm going to throw in about a half a tablespoon of real garlic as well. This is minced. I keep it in my fridge, so it's super easy. We're basically going to be making like a stir fry with this, like you would for Chinese kind of. And with a stir fry, you usually have an egg. So I do have that. So, and I already have onions, so I'm gonna get some frozen vegetables and some soy sauce, and I'm gonna add that. More parsley, because the green stuff makes it look better. Okay, let's make a little well in the middle, which I did. I'm gonna add my egg so I can fry that up. You may have differing opinions on how you crack an egg, but if I get any shell, I will fish it out with a spatula. Okay, so now it's kind of like when I make lasagna. I don't know if y'all do this, but in my meat mixture, I always put an egg because it helps it to stay together. You know, the meat mixture that you layer in, it helps it stay together. So, frozen vegetables. These are just regular frozen vegetables. We have a low sodium soy sauce as well. Okay, so let's add some in here. And we're gonna be mixing those in so they can cook through. And we're probably gonna run out of soy sauce, but we're gonna go ahead and douse it. Pretty good with that. And then we're gonna cook that through, see if I have enough vegetables in here. And then I'm probably also going to make a side of rice to go with this. All right, let's cook this up, see how it's doing in a few minutes. Okay, you know what? We only have what we have, so in it goes. Low sodium, which is what he needs anyway, so we're gonna use almost all of it. And then I'm gonna be making some rice, and here's something I've learned when I'm just cooking for the two of us. Nobody eats the leftovers, like past day 2. So I'm not gonna go crazy with the rice. Even rice, nobody seems to eat it leftover. I don't know why that is. So I'm only gonna do a cup of rice, and that should be sufficient. I will eat less rice than him because I'm trying to have even fewer carbs, but he will have some of it. Adding the water for the rice, turning them up to a boil, and once it comes to a boil, I'm just using regular instant rice, guys. I do make rice the old-fashioned way sometimes, but I'm not doing it that way tonight. Time for the rice to go into the boiling water. Pretty simple, that's why I love instant rice. You just put it in. As soon as it returns to a boil, you either take it off the burner or turn the temperature down, which it's already at a boil, so there you go. So let me turn the temperature down, and for my sink I have to kind of go like that. So there you go. Meanwhile, this is still simmering over here, getting the vegetables nice and soft. It's looking pretty good. It smells pretty good. I think we're gonna have a good meal here. So basically ground chicken stir fry with white rice. That's what we're gonna have tonight. Probably throw in a little bit of a salad too. So hope that maybe gave you some simple and easy ideas.